All right, good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Focus 2019. My name is Raphael Wanere. We're presently at the Independent National Electoral Commission's office. We'll be speaking with the head of Voters Education and Publicity, Mrs. Ijeoma Igbokwe.
Okay, Ijeoma Igbokwe. I'm the head of Voter Education, Publicity, Gender and Civil Society Organizations, INEC Lagos.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, quickly, during the last election, we went out and sourced for information from people, especially in Lagos State. There are some certain areas which are the flashpoints, like specifically Aguda, Ago Palace Way, then Jeremy Felodin, and these people told us how their votes they were disenfranchised in terms of hoodlums coming to snatch the ballot boxes and everything. Please, can you tell us from INEC's point of view, what happened that particularly? Because we saw videos that went viral. Some no police officers, no security personnel in those polling units. Some just one police officers. Would like to know.
Yes, we got to know too, and we observed some of the violent activities in those areas, and it's something we can't really explain, but it happened, and the commission is actually looking into it as it is. Some polling units were affected, and in those areas we are going to have what we call a run, which means that there will be elections for federal constituencies in those areas affected on Saturday, alongside with the governorship and House of Assembly elections. Yes.
All right, now thank you very much. Now there's one, we won't complete this interview if we don't mention this particular one, the welfare of majorly the adhoc staffs. That mostly the NYSC, the youth corpers, what have been put in place, in terms of remuneration, in terms of their safety, because we also saw videos where, some youth corpers, were beaten. What has the commission put in place, to ensure that the youth corpers are safe, the adhoc, even the staffs of INEC, are safe come this governorship election?
Yes, even in all elections, I would like to say that the staff of the commission, both ad hoc and permanent, are insured for elections. So we take care of all those. The commission takes care of the welfare in terms of remunerations, and also when there are incidents that could affect any corps member adversely, or even a permanent staff, in case of injury or extreme cases, loss of life, which we thank God in Lagos we've not really experienced since for a long time, and those things are put in place. And as for security, I must say that we work together with the security agencies, and even after the last elections, we've reviewed what happened, and we had a meeting with ICES, that's consultative agency for election securities, committee on election securities. We had a meeting on Tuesday, and we reviewed everything that happened, and they've put so many things in place to make sure that we don't have a reoccurrence of what happened in the last election.
Then for the safety of the youth corpers, like where they will stay, the rack centers, I remember the day the election was postponed, we had incidences whereby we saw videos, pictures of especially the youth corpers, staying in area rack centers that they don't even have mattresses. What has the commission, especially in Lagos, because now we are focusing on the gubernatorial election, which is Lagos State now, what has the commission, Lagos State Independent National Electoral Commission, put in place to make sure that these people, will not have a reoccurrence of that, and the rack centers will be well, taken care of?
Yes, of course. You didn't look at what happened in the last election. By the last election, 2 weeks ago, we had already put in place everything that has to do with the rack. And the core members, not just core members alone, every ad hoc staff stays at the rack, you know, and everything was put in place and nobody complained in the last election. So it shows that by the 23rd, everything had been put in place, yes. And we're also working in the same spirit to make sure that they are comfortable at the centers.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. In terms of the collation, will they use what's it called now, the card readers? Because we read in the national dailies where the commission says there will be, where there's no card reader, there will be no election there, that there must be a card reader. But in the last election, we saw places that, you know, results were collated, counted, that they didn't use card readers. You know, most of the some party agents reported that card readers were not used. Are we going to have a reoccurrence of that, or the commissions have positioned themselves, you know, to make sure that all polling units have card readers? And where the card reader doesn't work, what's the commission stand?
Okay, in the last election, we maintained the use of card readers in Lagos State, and the commission is of the opinion that we will not do manual accreditation. So every polling unit has a card reader, and in Lagos State, like every other state, you have backups. And the commission also has made provision, trained young people we call RATEX. Those are, you know, people who are trained to handle the card readers at every point. So they are in all the registration areas, even in the local government areas. And the commission has also provided mobility for them. So once there's a call at any polling unit, they will go with the backup. If it's something they cannot rectify immediately, they will change the smart card reader and continue. All they will need to do is just to reconfigure it. The accredited figures will stand, and then they move ahead. So in this election, the commission is maintaining this standard. We must use card readers. Those, well, I can't really say in Lagos areas where we do use card readers, but everywhere that card readers were not used, the results were cancelled.
Yes. So with those results, we didn't rerun, we didn't have a rerun of election in those areas.
Well,
it's total cancellation, like it's not going to count.
No, if for instance the fault is from the card reader ourselves, then you will know that it's amongst those that are going to do the run. But in a situation where the citizens say no, we will not use card readers, it will not affect the result.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And lastly, the voters
to come out.
the voters now. Because those are major stakeholders, the electorate. How is the commission, you know, going about ensuring, you know, that these people's trust is gained again? Because of, especially Lagos State, for the very first time, Lagos experienced, you know, some pockets of violence in some, you know, polling units. This is something that has never happened in a very long time in Lagos, you know, as far as the election is concerned. What's the commission doing as to sensitizing the people and, you know, making them gain that trust to come out knowing that their safety is guaranteed?
Thank you very much. The commission is actually interacting with all phases of stakeholders, the religious leaders, the political leaders. We are also interacting with all voters at every level. We've spoken with the traditional leaders also to talk to Lagosians that whatever it is, the commission is, you know, we are up to the task to ensure that their security is ensured this time, because we are working with the, like I said, with the security agencies, and we've met and we've looked into the areas where, you know, we had issues and ways to combat such problems. So we encourage Lagosians to come out and vote en masse. Their vote is their power, and by the grace of God, we will not have any incidents this time. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. We can't complete this interview without mentioning vote buying and vote selling. That's one language that that always come up. You know, we experienced the Ekiti election, we experienced the Osun election. You know, what's the how do I put this now, between the commission and the security agents as to apprehending those people that would come, to polling units to either sell or buy votes on that day?
Well, you see, we've done our own part by ensuring that the setting of the polling units, the setting now, general setting, does not give room for people to print and show their ballot papers to whosoever. And we've also said that people should not go into the booth with their smartphones. So there's nothing like taking photographs. And I also know that the security agencies, they also have their own plan on how to handle vote buying. But I must say that we didn't really have cases, reported cases of such in this last election, where there was a blatant, vote buying and vote selling. And I believe that the security agencies have also put certain things in place to address that issue. We also encourage the press to help us. You're part of our stakeholders to speak against it. We also speak against it, and we speak with the stakeholders that the commission is outrightly against vote buying and vote selling.
So viewers, there you have it. We've been speaking and interacting with Mrs. Ijeoma Igbokwe, the head of Voters Publicity in Lagos, Independent National Electoral Commission, Lagos State. And like she's said, come Saturday, please do come out en masse and vote for the candidate of your choice. Your security is guaranteed. And for those who are planning, to disrupt this election, trust me, there will be no way, for you, because security agents are going to be, on standby to make sure that this election is free, fair, and very credible. This is Citizens Information Network. My name is Raphael Waneri, and this is Focus 2019.